Go for it.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the July 6th A-Team call. Dr. A and I are glad for all of you that have joined us, or that all of you that are going to listen to the recording. And it's an exciting time for us because it's almost time for National Convention. And we're hoping that all of you are coming and that you're bringing all of your team. I know Dr. A is going to chat on that a little bit when he comes on. But I thought what I would do is just talk a little bit about what I've been hearing in some of my coaching calls. And that is that a lot of people are having trouble really figuring out, how to juggle work in the summertime and all of that. So, whether you're a part-time coach or a full-time coach, summer can be kind of challenging. And this is my 15th year juggling kids from home from school and vacations and these beautiful days that you don't want to be inside and getting it ready for convention. And I've seemed to be able to handle work just fine and still enjoy summer. And, all of us are acquiring and supporting clients and coaches during that time. So it can be a little challenging because summer is different than your normal time of year. So I just have a couple tricks up my sleeve I thought I would share with everybody. And hopefully it will help for some of you that are struggling or finding that it's really hard to make that time commitment to work your business at the same time, have all that time for family and friends and vacations. And what I find is that I really do incorporate the habits of health. All of those habits that we've learned are very important to incorporate during all times during the year. But remember, in summertime, sometimes you can slip off a little bit. And it's really important to keep those in mind. So the first little tip that I have is to sleep at least 7 hours a day. Everybody needs 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And in the summertime, a lot of times we stay up late or we sleep in late and, whatever, and just really mess up your time clock and when you usually work. So my suggestion is to really make sure that most of the days, there's going to be days in the summer that there's activities that you're just going to be up late and then you have to sleep in a little bit late. But to really think about that time that you need to sleep and make sure you make time for that. Because everybody knows that we need those special hours, 7 to 8 hours, to really have a healthy body and mind and be able to function. The other tip I have is to start your day a little earlier, especially if you have children at home. I know now I have teenagers, so they sleep till noon, so it doesn't really matter for me. But when my kids were little, I would just get up a little bit early, do a couple hours in the morning before I knew I had to tend to them, breakfast, get them to camp or whatever. And it really gave me, that time in the morning when nobody else is up, especially your children, you get a lot done. So, and also if you want to go like golf game or, go out with friends or whatever, get that work done early in the morning so that you don't miss a day and feel like you didn't get anything accomplished. And the next thing is, if you do have a busy day because it's summertime, turn those key tasks into habits so that you're automatically doing them every week. I know that, we all have to call, or we should call our clients and our coaches every week. But in the summer, it's really easy to kind of, whoops, that whole day went by and I didn't call so-and-so. So, if you use your client support system, which used to be the file folder system, and really stay focused on who you need to chat with during the day, you'll be much more efficient and you won't miss on all those support calls that you need to be making, because those clients that are looking for your support deserve it. They're working hard this summer. There's lots of challenges, or can't think of the word I'm looking for, but things that come in that may play havoc with their programs. So you need to be there for them, and make sure that you pick those ones that are really important first and make sure you get those done. So if there's like 3 things you really need to get done that day, like kind of prioritize it. Make sure you put the most important things done in the beginning. So if something does come up in the afternoon, you've at least accomplished the most important items that you have. And if you do have to move somewhere, like if you're going on vacation or whatever, your phone and your computer goes everywhere. So you can move your office anywhere. If your household is busy, like for me now, we have a lot of teenage kids here. It's easy for me to just shut myself up in the office. But if you have a busy house and you don't have that ability, then you might want to go like to Starbucks or to the library, or maybe just out if you live near a beach or just out in your yard, just get away so that you can get some of your work done and still, you know, not feel into what's going on around you. And another thing, another tip that I have, especially important to me because I have a hard time doing this, is just learn to say no. You know, there's times to volunteer and there's times not to. And if your summer is really important for you to be with your family and friends, then it may not be the time to volunteer, you know, at the homeless shelter or a camp or something like that. So, I mean, it's up to you, but just kind of keep that in mind. Don't stretch yourself too thin. And for your children, just, you know, they have expectations. And I know my kids, even now at teenage years, knowing 15 years into this, they still want to know, what are you doing? Why can't I go here? So if you begin at the, you know, right when summer starts and say, there's times that I'm going to be working and not, and just really help them understand that by understanding when you have to work, it's helping you, you know, with your work, and hopefully they'll be understandable to find something else to do and not bug you. And another habit of health is really, you know, make sure you're exercising. Summertime is a great time to get out and exercise, eat healthy. There's lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, and the grill is out there, not cold weather right now. So make sure that you really take advantage of knowing those habits of health and keeping your body healthy, and that will help your mind and just the way you sleep, and just, you know, it all comes together. And another little tip that I have that I use all year round is utilize the weekends just a little bit. So if your weekdays are a little bit shorter because of summer and activities that you want to do, then you may want to take a little time, like I do on a Saturday in the morning, just like 2 to 3 hours on Saturday, get some of my work done that I'd normally do on the weekdays, but I've made them shorter because I'm not working as many hours, but at least I'm getting in all that work. So I don't want you working all weekend, but just a couple hours during the weekend might make your weekdays a little easier. And then one of my last tips is finding help for the summer. And I thought of this one because, well, I have a personal assistant and she's wonderful, and I don't think I could run our business or what I do without her. I know I could in the household and everything. She helps me immensely. But my daughter's friend is a nanny. And, you know, there's a lot of college kids out there that are just looking to make a little extra money, a few hours a day. So if you do have children, or if you just need a personal assistant to run errands, do your laundry, you know, college kids are out there looking for, you know, to make a few bucks while they're home. So, you know, that's a place that you could look for them to give yourself a little free more time so that you can run your business, but also have fun in the summer. And lastly, summer is the time for picnics and family and friends and get-togethers and socializing and sports outings, whether you play golf or tennis, you go to baseball games, whatever there is. Summertime's a great time to connect with people and really build relationships. So make sure you're getting out there, you're meeting people, you're having fun, and you're really spreading that word. You know, just be that branded healthy self, and you'll just attract those people who want to be just like you. So I hope that those are very helpful tips. I know that they've helped me a lot through the years that I've been working from home all summer. I know some of you have other jobs and just do this part-time, but those are great tips for you too. So I hope that's really helpful. And what I'd like to do now is just open it up to Dr. A to come on. He's got some great things to talk about, and I'll just let him take it away. Dr. A?
Great, Lori, and thank you so much for sharing that. That was great. Welcome, everybody. How's everybody? We all having fun and having a good summer so far?
Doing great.
Let me look around because I see some smiles. Let me see. I got to look around here. Let me look at some more panels here. I see smiles. I see. Okay. All right. Susan, you're kind of smiling, but not completely. Let's get that going there. Hold on a second. Let me see who else we got. All right. I see a bunch of smiles there. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's good. You should be smiling. I mean, bottom line is you have one of the best kept secrets in the whole world. That is the ability to truly create and organize your life around what matters most. And so, I like that Lori's giving you some tips to stay focused during the summer months when we have a tendency more to maybe play a little more, enjoy being outside. But the reality is what you're doing is extremely important. I just read a symposium today put out by the AMA looking at this new field of health coaching. Imagine that. We've been doing it for 15 years, and now it's a new field that's gaining popularity, and there's a whole 50-page treatise on it and talking about it as another specialty, as another thing you can do in an up one, down one to take care of people. Well, the reality is, our philosophy is the client is basically in charge of their own life, right? They're in charge of their life. Our role is to actually help them, awaken them to the full potential, put them on the path, and then be there as a partner for them. And that same thing applies to you as our business partners. One of the key things is I look and see the progress that people make and look and see the results. I find that it comes down to one thing. And Helen Irwin and I sat right over there in that other room, on the other side of my office, and we made the 6 leadership principles based on the tenets which we believe are really important for leadership. And leadership basically starts the first time you talk to somebody about getting healthy. You become a leader. And all of you are in all different phases of leadership. And one of the things I'm going to be doing at National Convention this year is doing a workshop on conscious leadership, of really understanding the full ramifications of what that means. And really what it means is very simply this. Can you see the line there? I just drew this. I'm not the artist, but there's a line there. And there's two places of looking at the orientation. And we talk about playing above the line, right? We talk about taking responsibility and playing above the line. Here's above the line. Here's below the line. And yet what I find is 95% of the people that I deal with spend most of their time below the line. And what I find that to be is very disempowering, doesn't allow for self-efficacy, and doesn't allow someone to become the dominant force in their life. So we're going to talk a lot about this tonight. So first of all, what does it mean? Let's start off what it means to play below the line. What kind of, give me a couple examples, and we'll take you guys off. Well, come off mute if you have one of the answers. Give me an example of what I mean by playing below the line.
Blame.
Okay, blame, good.
Shame.
Shame, okay.
Excuses.
What was that?
Excuses.
Excuses, okay.
Have to be right.
Got to be right. Oh, I love that one. By the way, that's one that sticks out. If I had to pick the top 3, you just hit it. The need to be right. The need to be right. Ego coming front and center forward. That in any situation, this part of this that's not our authentic self needs to be right at the expense of all else. So that's a great one. What else?
Concepts.
Concepts. Okay, that's a great one.
Fear.
What else?
Victim.
Fear.
Victim. Fear. Okay, those are all good ones.
Being a perfectionist.
Perfectionist, right? That's great. Yep, that's actually someone that has to be right, so they don't hardly do anything. They never go into action because they don't want to look bad. That's great. What else?
Being perfectly organized.
Perfectly organized. Okay. Anything with the word perfect in it, right? There is no such thing as perfect. Okay.
Feeling guilty.
What was that one?
Feeling guilty.
Guilty. Okay. Yeah. Those are all the things of when we're actually, I like to look at that as a triad of victim, villain, and hero. All 3 of those are playing below the line, right? And what I mean by that is that you're victim, like, oh, it happened to me. The world is happening to me. I'm not in charge. Oh, if only that coach had showed up at National Convention, I would be ED now. Oh, only if my dog didn't poop on the floor, my floor would be sparkling clean. Oh, it goes on and on and on. Villain. Oh, I knew if it wasn't for them, they were really bad and they made the wrong decision there. And as a result of that, I'm losing my house. Or victim could be also, villain could also be, you know what? You aren't any good. You're a bad person when you can actually do that to yourself. And then the third one is hero. Oh, I'm going to come in and save the day, right? I'm the hero. I'm going to save the day. I'm going to show that I'm better than anybody else. So basically, pick the top 3 in terms of playing below the line. 1 is closed. I'm closed in my thoughts. I'm not open to suggestions. 2 is I'm defensive. I always take a defensive stance in comparing to my world what I think. And the third, which we heard earlier, was basically I need to be right. Okay, so those are the things you don't want to do. What are the things you want to do? Give me some examples, and I'll give you a hint. They're the opposite of the things that we had down here.
Authenticity.
Okay, authenticity, that's great.
Responsible.
Responsible, absolutely.
Open.
Open.
Open, that's it. Great, open. Open to the possibilities, that's great.
Consistency.
Consistency, love it.
Integrity.
Integrity, that's good.
Honesty.
Flexible. Flexible.
Flexible, honesty, I like that.
Willing.
Willing, okay. So what's one of the things that is, what are one of the things you admire most? When we were kids and we were in our purest state before all this stuff got into our heads, what was one of the things that was probably the most important or one of the most important attributes when we were kids, or basically when we watch our kids? What is the thing that stands out about them?
Fun and spontaneity.
Spontaneity, that's good. What's the other one?
Trusting.
They keep trying, that's right. That's a growth mindset. That's absolutely
Tenacity.
tenacity, that's right. They just stay at it. And what's the thing that killed the cat?
Curiosity.
Curiosity. Curious about their world, wanting to expand their world, not trying to retract into their world, but wanting to move forward and explore and become better. And so the bottom line is playing above the line is open. It's about being curious, and it's about just wanting to get better without all those things you mentioned about having to be right, that, you know, I've got to make sure I understand this. I can never look weak, all those other things. Now, here's the key thing. Our goal as we develop into leaders is to play above the line as much as we can. Here's the more important part. None of us are above the line all the time. There'll always be times when human nature or something will happen and we'll find ourselves below the line. But the key thing, and the thing that most people don't do, they don't know when they're below the line. So the key thing is awareness, to be able to feel and see, wow, situation. And by the way, your body's going to tell you. You'll start feeling that icky sauce in your stomach, maybe in your chest, maybe up in your throat, where it just doesn't feel right. I'm supporting something, or I'm getting angry, or I'm getting upset. And, you know, I talk about stop, challenge, and choose. But the reality is you're probably playing below the line if you start feeling those feelings. So the cool thing is, it's not that you're below the line, it's that you make the decision that you're now going to move above the line during that situation. So remember, things are going to happen in our lives. Are always going to happen. Your response to those situations are going to determine the outcome, right? And so it's so important. If I had to pick the one thing that I work on every day, it's a thing that I work on when I'm working with our leaders, and working with our coaches and working with our clients, is that if I can have the person develop higher self-efficacy, in other words, get to the point where they're monitoring themselves. And how do you do that? You do that through three things, and write these down. The first, you are open. You're open to listening to what's going on, actually, even as it's happening. You're observant. You're actually observing what's happening. And the third thing, and this is the hardest for us, we're being objective. We're actually objective to the situation versus how did I feel? How did I look? Did I look right there? Is it someone else's fault? And if we'll just make that one adjustment and start spending more time moving from here to there, you'll see everything get better in your life. Your relationships, your business, your health coaching, your ability to listen, all those things will get better. Because, you know, one of the important things is, you know, what you think affects how you feel. And what you feel affects basically what you end up behaving, how you do things. And the third part is the opportunity for us to basically, for our thoughts, for how we feel, and basically our actions to promote being in the best interest of our clients and for our coaches. Does that make sense? And it kind of distill down. What I find is, if you'll basically realize, and in this article I was mentioning in the beginning, what I'm finding is that they're trying to create another profession of health coaching. See, health coaching for us is not basically a job. It's a state of being, isn't it? It's actually philosophically putting our thoughts towards a health orientation for ourselves first, for our family and our friends second, and for our clients and our coaches third. All those things are part of an orientation now, where it's not like, oh, because I'm a health coach, now I can't do that. Or because I'm health coach. No, you can do it. You can do what you want. But the clear question is, what I'm doing, am I doing it? Is it in the best interest of moving forward and truly becoming a coach of coaches? So I wanted to open that up. What discussion do we have on that? Did anybody have any ahas, or tell me anything that basically you're feeling or sensing, or if something doesn't sound right to you, let's talk about it. And then we're going to talk a little bit about National Convention in a little bit. So who has any comments or thoughts? Wow. Busted. Did I bust everybody on that one?
No, we need to be working on ourselves always to improve.
Okay, great. That's playing above the line. It's not, okay, I'm gonna really work. Language is important. So you don't have to be working on yourself, but if you choose to continue to grow as an individual, and remember that there's two constructs. Time is really is an illusion that we've created, because actually all there really is the moment. But the illusion we talk about is lead from the future, act in the now, is the idea that what we want to bring into being in our life will be determined by a bunch of nows, right? We have the fixed nows, which are those of the past. We have the evolving nows, which are the ones of this current moment. And then we have the open nows, which are the things that are going to happen in the future. But if we really desire to have the things that matter most to us, we don't have to have them. We don't have to prove that we're a good person. We don't have to have high self-esteem. But what we know is there's certain things that we want for our lives, for ourselves, for our families, and if we actually, and for our clients and our coaches, and if we simply orient ourselves around moving in that direction through the creative process and actually focus on that purpose, look at what are the priorities that move me to that purpose, that will create the productivity that will move your business forward.
Dr. Anderson, one of the things you said, which is so true, about our language, we shouldn't say I have to, we should say I get to, not what I have to do, but what I get to do.
If you want to. That's right. That's exactly right. See, the thing is, I'm not much into commitment, the word commitment. Commitment means, well, I've decided to do it, but I may not really want to do it, right? If you really, and you're not going to be successful. You will break so many commitments, because if it's not something that's in your heart and in your gut that you really want into bringing, I'm not saying there's not things that you have to do because you have to do them. Like, if your baby poops in their diaper, you gotta clean it, right? Acceptance, right? And that's acceptance. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. Dog poops on the floor. I don't know why I'm into the poop thing tonight, but bottom line is, there's certain things we have to do, but we can accept those and actually be fully present for those things and do them with great focus and do them great. Like, I was helping Lori after we ate dinner with Erica tonight. Savannah was out for the night, and basically, she started to clean the kitchen. And you know what? I have a lot of stuff going on getting ready for conference, as does she. And I needed to get back to work, but I looked and said, why should Lori have to do that by herself? So basically, decided to help her, did it to the best of my ability, focused in that moment of making sure I put everything away properly, didn't just put it away sporadically and create more problems, and then I moved on. The whole point is, the things that are most important in your life are the things that bring you basically first joy and then enthusiasm. And enthusiasm is now when you're focused on the things that are most important and you're bringing them, you're starting to create those things. That puts you in position to truly be in flow, being in really moving totally in resonance with what you want in your life. And you guys need to tap into that, because I can tell sometimes, you get on these calls, and I tell you one thing, I don't see anybody that's more excited to be on this call than me. And there's a message there, because I'm in this moment, and there's a, you don't even want to know all the stuff I got to get done before morning. But in this moment when I'm here, I'm fully present, and I'm basically absolutely loving doing this with you guys. And that's where you need to get to that point in this business, because to truly, when you realize, when you have another job and you got to get up in the morning, this has to be the thing that brings you enthusiasm. This needs to be the thing that you've resonated now that brings you joy that you connect to. And if something's missing in there, we want to integrate, you have your brain, you have your mind, and you have your relationships. And we want to make sure we integrate those three things so you're moving forward every day with that kind of feeling inside of you that, you know what, I'm moving into resonance. It's like a guitar string that when you cling it, the guitar next to it will also vibrate. And that's what you want in your relationships with your clients and your coaches. If you have the same level of enthusiasm that I have for where I am with you, with your coaches and clients, you will become an integrated presidential director in the not too distant future.
Woohoo! Dr. A?
The question is that what I want?
Dr. A?
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more, and I think these calls are always so powerful. I loved actually one of the things that Lori was saying is getting their routine. I mean, one of the things that's so powerful about what you're saying is that we actually have pride of ownership. Like the decision and the enthusiasm, it's like, wow, this is ours, own it. We have this great team, but this is our own. So, I'm enthusiastic about getting that chunk of time because I own this. I want to be proud of what Greg and I have created. And it's like, we've been traveling like crazy, but in the morning, I want to reach out and talk to people and get that, not just out of the way, but it's what we do. And we want to enjoy it and have that pride of having a good job done just because we're in service of other people. So I love the fact that we're part of a team, and I appreciate the fact that calls bring us all together. But pride of ownership, because of what you've given us, is so powerful.
Great. Thank you for sharing that.
Hey, Dr. A?
Yep.
I think one of the overriding common factors which affects us in so many ways is our ego. It can make us do things that we wish we hadn't done. Our ego can stop us from moving in a direction that we want to. What are people thinking? It can affect us in so many different ways.
Well, that's a great point. And, as you know, I'm writing a book on identity that's all about that. But let me say this about ego. When you're above the line, your ego has no place. See, if you're fully conscious, and that's where, we are right now, bottom line is I'm focused on you. I'm actually, if we look at what's happening in neurobiology, there is actually a connection between what we're thinking and what you're thinking. And when we can actually move into, when I'm listening to you talk, like Cliff, what you were just saying, is that's absolutely true. Our egoic mind is not us. It is actually this superficial part, and it's always focused on separation from us, from everybody else. And that's the antithesis of what we're doing. We're actually creating a state for all people to be able to come and be part of this incredible optimal health community and be able to basically organize their life and do the things that are most important to them. When we have our ego engaged, we're looking to find ourselves always that we're right, that we're better, that we show ourselves better. And that works on both sides. It can also work on low self-esteem where you think that, you say I'm shy, and you're shy, but you're actually shy because you don't want to say something and have someone see that basically your ego's in the way and that you're actually not feeling comfortable and you have low self-esteem. The whole point is when we remove ourselves and get fully present for people and we're actually there in the moment, we open up, and now we're opened up to the other person, and there's actually a whole area in the front of our brain called that calls the resonance structure, and there's resonance circuitry that starts resonating. And when we pluck the guitar string, and when someone feels that, when they feel that you're really finding out, you're empathetic, that you're actually really paying attention to what they're saying and what's important to them, it's beyond just mirroring their actions or basically just listening and repeating or asking questions. It's actually where a part of you is now inside of them and a part of them is inside you, where you're actually can sense that. And what we're finding in the new dynamics on the mind is the mind actually develops completely, all the way from little babies, all the way through our adulthood, even into our 90s. It's about the interaction between a healthy brain, healthy mind, and healthy relationships. And those things by themselves all work together. So bottom line, if you're not sleeping well, if you're eating terrible food, if you're basically not exercising. Your brain, the actual structural, functional components of your brain are not optimized. So that's why the habits of health are important. If your mind focused on your ego, as you said, Cliff, if you're basically in loops where you're having this obsessive thinking and you're going over and over, your healthy mind is not helping you with your brain. And the third part is in your relationships. If you're not fully present, if you're doing comparative reality, you're actually thinking, oh yeah, I know what they're talking about, and then you interrupt them. You just broke down the relational part of that triad, and you haven't put yourself in the best position. So I'm talking about neurobiology and a healthy mind and relational interaction. What I'm really talking about is actually just being fully present. It's as easy. When you're fully present, your ego cannot survive. Your ego is totally displaced when you're fully present. So it's as easy as that. Now, it's not that easy to do because we're always used to, you know, taking charge or being in control or the control flexibility thing. But if we're willing to be open, we're observant, we're objective, bottom line is we put ourselves in position to truly not miss what the person's saying. I mean, I'll get on three-way calls and I'll listen, and I'm actually really listening, and I'll hear the young health coach start getting in and say, oh yeah, well, we can do this, we can do that for you. You're telling them something they don't even know if they want yet. And what you're doing is you're now moving into their space, not as an advocate, not as someone truly trying to understand. Because what we want to do is we want to feel felt. If you can remember that, feel felt. If your clients feel felt, if your coaches feel felt, you have the best opportunity to open up a resonance in your communication where now you're in position to help find out truly if you can help them and how you can help them. So, any questions on any of that?
Dr. A, it's Jill.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, if it's okay, just give my last 24 hours experience.
Yeah.
Because you and I are not above and below the line. And one of the things that just really happened today, really over the last 24 hours, of really being conscious of being above and below the line, because when we're not conscious, we don't realize how much we potentially might be below the line. And today was probably one of the most joyful, productive days I've had.
That's really cool.
In a very long time.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Cool.
It really was. So just to be conscious of where you are consistently. And
So let me ask you this question, Jill. So basically, how did you feel in your relationships?
I felt comfortable, and I felt that I was giving real value to the coaches and the clients I was talking to.
And how did they respond to that?
The response was, it was partnership. It was really, it was, like you said, it was walking along with them into their world and really understanding them so that we could work out. I had a lot of people that had some really tough things today, and we were able to work out some great
Oh, I love that.
for them so that they could really progress and so they could stay with their programs. So.
Yeah, and so that's with taking this new muscle that you're working on one day.
Yes.
Imagine if every day, if you focus on that, how powerful that can be.
I'm excited.
Yep. So so we have a global director on the line that has a good-sized business that basically she came to me and says, you know what, I want to grow. I want my business to grow. I want to grow. And she basically was open. She basically was curious, and she wants to grow. So she's playing above the line in our talk, and we spent a good part of time together. And by being open and not trying to second guess herself, and then instituting and actually putting into practical application, she had a great day today. Now, the key thing is, like everything else, it's great when it's new and shiny. It's about doing it every day. It's about continuing to do it one day after the other after the other. So that's great, Go. Thanks for sharing that. And that makes me, by the way, so basically by me listening to what you were talking about and then today hearing that feedback, that brings great joy to me, because that reinforces that what we're talking about really is not just that powerful, but makes that most sense, and we were able to make that little course correction. So that's awesome. I love that.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to mute everybody except for the person talking, because We got a lot of background noise. So tell me, what else? Anything else before we talk about conference? Now you have to unmute if you're going to talk.
Meditation helps.
Meditation is basically a tremendous tool. Meditation is actually a form of reaching a state of consciousness. And so meditation is a great, great tool to help with that. So absolutely, it's one of my favorite tools. I was just talking, maybe I'll turn you on to a type of meditation that most people haven't heard of. It's called step meditation. And basically, it's so like if you're moving around, let's say you get up from your desk, or you have something going on, maybe walk down the hall or walk up the stairs and feel your feet, feel the soles of your feet when you're walking, and totally focus on just that, or your lower legs, either one, it doesn't matter. But the point is, when you take your mind and actually take, it's called body scanning, when you take part of your body and you actually sense it, you put yourself in a position to be fully present. And what happens during that sequencing, your ego, your emotions, all those things will quell down. So it's really a good thing to stop, challenge how you're feeling, and then choose the right outcome. And by the way, while we're on it, meditation is good. I'll give you one other one I was talking to Lori about the other day. I'm finishing up this book with Robert Fritz, and that is basically, name it to tame it. So if you're suddenly feeling an emotion, okay, it's important, rather than suppressing that emotion, let's say for whatever, you're mad, your son just walked and tracked mud into the house, or somebody in the conversation you thought made you feel small or stupid. And so rather than reaching out, stop, identify the emotion, and there's only 5 real emotions, really, right? Okay, so tell me, what are the 5 emotions?
Anger.
Anger, that's 1.
Joy.
Joy, that's 2.
Fear.
3, that's 3.
Sadness.
Sad, 4, and there's one other one. Well, sadness and also shame. And then what's the last one?
Fear.
Marvin Gaye sang the song.
Love.
Sexual feeling. Anyway, those are the 5 general categories. But actually and they're all the things, and love basically is part of joy, yeah. And that also falls into the other thing we want is acceptance. So it's very interesting, but the point is that these emotions that you have, identify them. So if you're feeling anger, identify it. I'm feeling angry right now. And then feel the emotion completely until it's gone, and it will go away. But if you let it sit there and you ignore it and you internalize it, you start another loop, and then you go on, and then you go think more about it, like, boy, did that make me mad. Oh, gosh, that made me mad. Oh, that made me mad. And then what happens is you start internalizing it, and pretty soon you've created an emotional, thought-emotion loop, and you could be there for days in it, right? It's like getting on the spin cycle. So very important. But yeah, meditation is tremendous. Thank you for that. So anybody want any comments before we talk a little bit about conference? Okay, so I'm going to show you, it just came out, maybe you've seen it, but it just came out about an hour ago. But I'm going to share this video with you. It just came out, just a minute long. And hold on a second, let me find out where's my, I don't know what I just did to my, hold on a second. Where did that go? Where did my...
I have to thank Pat for putting great notes over on the chat page. Thanks, Pat Stouty.
You got great notes over there,
Little
Pat?
secretary, yes, she does.
Thank you. Thanks, Pat. Okay,
I could take notes. You do the chat, then you save the chat, and you have the notes.
Oh,
that's pretty
cool.
special. Okay, so why? Okay, so hold on a second.
I see that. I'm going to do that. Thanks, Pat.
That's great. Okay, so let me just bring this back. Okay, so let me see why my share screen. Do this, and then this, and then can you see my screen? Can you see that? Can you guys see that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, let me make it bigger so you can. Okay, so this just came out, and I'm going to play it for you. It's just 1 minute long, and then I want some comments on it. Here we go. Well, that's not it. Why is it not big? Why is that not big?
That
Wait,
is,
hold on.
right hand corner, it should get bigger. Little arrows there.
That's straight.
Bottom right hand, Dr. A. Little arrows.
Okay. So what stood out? Let me get back on the thing. I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize why it wouldn't get big for me. But anyway, what stood out on that? Anybody?
Community. Urgency.
Exactly. And the one thing that you may not have caught, because I'm a terrible videographer, is it talked about Take Shape for Life will never be the same.
History.
This is actually a point in our history where we're evolving to the next level. And so I highly, highly, highly recommend. I just checked, there's a little over 100 slots left. If you've even thought about coming and you haven't decided to come, you don't want to miss this. This will be one of those historical pieces in our history where everything changes and changes for the better. So I really, if you're even kind of thinking about it, unless you're having open heart surgery or something, you want to come. And you want to really take this video, share it with all your coaches, and even potential clients that might want to become coaches, and get them to come. Because there's less than, I think it's 128, well, this morning there's 128, so it's probably less than 100 slots. And I can't overemphasize how important it will be, and you're going to really, really, really regret if you aren't there. And I'm not saying that to be, just trying to promote it. I just know, and this is our core team outside of our other leaders, and we want you guys to really benefit from this, and it's going to give you an advantage moving into the rest of the year. So make sure that every single coach you have that has not yet decided or is on the fence, make sure, and actually, and I will tell all of you, if you go to conference and you basically don't think it was worth it, Lori and I will refund your registration fee. That's how powerful this conference is going to be. It's going to be that powerful. So anyway, any comments on that or anything?
I've got a client that's coming.
Good. That's great.
That is great.
I
And I
love
have to say that knowing what we know, you definitely want to be there. It's going to be the most exciting time for Take Shape for Life. It's just the beginning of the future. And I have all these YouTube girls running around talking about that.
What was that, Lori?
That was Eric and her friend going out to the hot tub.
Yeah, that's what I want to come back as, my daughter.
I know, the life of our kids. That's what, or their friends. Anyway.
Okay, so anyway, the bottom line is, even if there's some obstacles, get them figured out, because you do not. If your heart's in this business and you want to be part of this team, and if the issue is money, bottom line is the benefits you're going to learn, things you're going to happen from this, will help amplify the growth of your business. So definitely come. We'd love to have you. You want me to give us a hint, Nancy Strauss? Give us a hint. I just told you it's the most powerful thing that's ever happened to us, and it's going to be amazing on multiple levels. There's multiple things happening. And I'll give you a hint. Helen Irwin's going to be there. Okay, that's the hint I'll give you. So this is going to be Vanessa. It's going to be your first conference. You're going to love it.
Hey, Dr. A.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, we're just like, the team is just getting really excited about this, and we are still working on inviting people. We were just talking, one of our coaches, we're talking today with somebody who's brand new coach. They just brought on a new coach, and I said, my goodness, did you invite him to convention? Oh, no, but I should do that right away.
Exactly.
It kind of fits in the conversation of like, when you're talking to a brand new coach, it says, hey, where I might say, hey, sounds kind of crazy, but honestly, you really got to be there. I know you just got started, but you're going to really want to be at convention. Or, we've got another one that's still trying to figure out the logistics of how to make it work with family stuff. And I said, just keep the doors open. As long as there's still tickets available, you can still come.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we're just really excited. I think.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. And for everybody that's on the line, if your business isn't where it is right now, the two things that you need to do is start playing above the line, which we talked about, and Jill validated how powerful that is. And the other thing is come to conference. You will learn more. It's like basically taking a year course compressed into 3 days. And the nice thing, you have to take 1 day off of work. And then also, if you're coming, this is your first time and you have coaches, make sure you have them coming. And this is a great time to connect in a 3-way call with your business coach to make sure they're there. I mean, listen, we can't tell you everything, but I can tell you, just like I said, we will pay your registration if you go to conference and say it wasn't worth every penny. What more can I tell you? That's like a Buddy Carpet bond, money back guarantee.
Hey, Dr. A, somebody wondered if the hotels are booked. Have they lifted the special pricing off the hotels? Do you know?
I know for registration, it's first time they have a special deal. If it's your first convention, I know that.
But for hotels?
I don't know. You know what? We're getting too big. I can't take care of everything anymore, and I like that.
I have a new client that became a health coach, and she took advantage of that discount. So she's so excited.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's awesome. So anyway, we've been on for a little over 45 minutes. So I really appreciate, we like to make sure these calls were effective. Hopefully you guys will apply some of the principles. So just before we close, and just from a couple people, what's the one biggest takeaway that you had on this call tonight? Anybody?
That there's always hope in everything that you do, and we continue to grow as a company.
Enthusiasm.
That's a great word, Rich. It really is. That's a word that, because what it does is we can have individual pieces of joy in our life and things that are fun, but when we're actually connected to what we want, what's most important to us, and we're feeling that, it's like we're connected. We're literally connected to that higher intelligence of the universe. We're actually, and that's what's so great about this business. You came and did a lot of gratis work, for the city of LA and pro bono work. And I think now you're sensing that in here is that we have the opportunity to change the world and be part of that. And it's really that connectivity and then the joy that brings. That's why, I didn't realize that we were going to do this call tonight. We had some discussion, and Lori told me about an hour and a half ago that, hey, we're doing a call tonight. I said, oh, really? And, for a moment there, I had a little bit of, God, I got an awful lot of work to do. But then when you see me on the call, you don't see any evidence that, oh, God, I'm here. So that's a discipline that we have, and that is playing above the line, being fully present, and realizing what we're doing, your impact you're having on all the people you come in contact with is dramatic. And the neatest part about it is when you start resonating, that resonance mirror circuitry we're talking about, when that starts resonating together, the power of that it creates extreme joy, fulfillment, and puts you in position to truly, and the nice thing about it is it helps your physical health, lowers your C-reactive protein, helps your mind become healthier, helps what Jill was talking about, helps your relationship. So it's all great. So good. Anybody else want to comment before we call it quits? Louise.
Mute me. Oh, there we go. We're muted. Hi, Dr. A. No, for me, it was just the excitement for the future. I've heard from you many times now, and Lori and other leaders, the pivotal, what's going to happen at convention, it's going to be pivotal. And so, you've said it in so many words without really saying it, but it's going to be life-changing for all of us. And I'm so excited.
We're actually under-promising here. That's how good it's going to be.
I'm sure we're thrilled. Excited, anticipating greatness.
Nance. You talking, Nancy, or did you just make some noise there?
Me? I guess I'm just so excited I can't take it one more minute. Come on. I do want that hint.
I love it. I gave you the hint. I gave you a hint.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, well, listen, everybody. I hope you had a great 4th of July with your families. And we have the greatest country in the world. It's a mess right now, as we know. We're going to bring it back purpose and help people create health and well-being. You're part of that mission. Please embrace it. If you're struggling with any concepts or anything that's going on, reach out to your business coach and basically say, you know what, I'm ready to play above the line. I may sometimes fall below, but I'm ready to now build that muscle. It's like building any other muscle. I'm going to work on playing above the line, being open. I'm going to be basically curious, and I'm going to work every day just getting a little bit better. So everybody, God bless. Hope you have a great week. I can't wait to see you all at the National Convention. It's going to be awesome. And if you haven't decided, decide right now and help your coaches make that same decision. Take that video, make sure you share it with everybody, and use that as a talking point of why this is so important to be there. So we'll see you guys.
See you soon.
Good night.
See you soon.
Good night.
Thanks. Good
Thank
night.
you, Dr. A.
Thank you. Thank you.